Hey, welcome to the First Issue Club. We're your weekly comic book podcast. Just like Sue Storm, love a good read. It's Mike and Vargas this week.
Hello.
We're holding space for a vacant couch seat where Greg would once go.
R.I.P.
2-week birthday hangover for this guy now.
Gone too soon.
Yeah, right?
In the arms of the angels.
Pour out a Boulevard Space Camper for our friend Greg. Maybe we'll see him again someday across the Rainbow Bridge, or maybe next week.
Crazy how he got hit by lightning whilst being bit by a cobra.
Yep. Holding up that big Mjolnir replica.
That's right.
What are the odds?
Oh.
We're here to talk to you about first issue comic books. That's the whole point of the show. Hopefully, somewhere, every single week, there's a first issue for you. Whether you like superheroes, mysteries, horror. Those are mostly the 3 types of comics.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Hey, there's some romance, but not a lot anymore.
And nowadays, most of the romance is just horror.
That is true. What is it about that? We just love our horror. There's a real, the coldest take on earth, real horror renaissance. It seems like for a while there would be like a trend that, or like somebody would do a new anthology style thing. It would kick ass and people would jump on the bandwagon and do a bunch of copycat things. And then a year later, everyone would be exhausted by everyone doing all these like horror copycat things. But that hasn't really happened. Like the next wave of horror has really persisted
Totally
in comics. So I don't know.
You know,
here to stay, maybe.
You know what it is? Let's explore that for a second.
Okay.
Because I can talk about horror
all day long.
I will be talking about horror for the next hour.
I'm a huge horror fan.
Yeah.
Out of all the movies that I watch in a year, probably 50% of them are horror.
So that is exactly the point I wanted to make.
Yeah.
Horror is such a, well, number one, it's a pretty visual medium.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do audio horror, but it's significantly easier to do as a visual medium. A horrifying image is a very easy thing to convey the emotion of.
Yeah.
Right? But on the flip side, it's fairly expensive and not lucrative to make as a movie. Right?
Yeah.
So horror as a specific genre hits the comic book industry at like just the sweet spot where a novel is not as, whatever. Talking in broad general strokes, a novel or a podcast is not generally as effective to the masses as a visual medium.
Yep.
But it's significantly cheaper and easier to turn a horror idea into a comic book than it is a movie.
Yeah, that's right. I think that's part of the reason why so many big fantastical fantasy and sci-fi things end up still coming to comics
totally
after all this time.
Yeah.
And that might sound stupid. That
no,
like comic books are at their core like big sweeping sci-fi fantasy. Well, wasn't always the case.
Totally.
And the further we've got into this world, people have all these cool new ideas. All these scrappy punk rock people are taking their cool ideas to comic books first because it's an affordable way to get them made. And then once they get their feet wet, they move on to success in TV and movies. So
yeah. And to your point, like name a fantasy franchise that's like not the big 3. Like it's not The Witcher, it's not Lord of the Rings, it's not Game of Thrones. We got Wheel of Time on Amazon. That's like literally the only other one I can think of. And everything else is like comic book, right?
Yep.
Insane that we haven't had an Elf Quest adaptation.
That is kind of crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's like a damn near 50-year franchise at this point.
Yeah. Wow. Wild. That's crazy to think about.
We love our horror.
We do. All right. Are you satisfied?
That's it.
Okay.
That was my point.
Before we get any further, I want to thank Boulevard Brewing Company, specifically the Space Camper Cosmic IPA, the best beer in the galaxy. It is the hoppy IPA that brings First Issue Club to you each and every week, makes our show possible. We are doing a fun, interactive game at Boulevard Brewing Company's booth at Planet Comic-Con.
Very yes.
Coming up soon. We're very excited to be collaborating with them and hanging out at Planet Comic-Con with all the awesome people that work at Boulevard. They gave us a handful of new beers to try. So while we're normally trying to get Space Camper into your homes, our eagle-eyed watchers, if you're on YouTube, might see we've got little Jayhawks on our cans today. We're pretty close here in Kansas City to KU, the University of Kansas, and they've made a pale ale that is pretty damn good.
Pretty crisp, pretty easy going.
I really like it. Every time when a brewery like this makes a bunch of big flagship beers, and then they do like a special line of something that, maybe sticks around for a shorter period of time than some of the other beers.
Yeah.
I'm always like, oh, this will be something like adjunct or like a little weirder that's like fun for a time, but maybe not stick around. This is a pale ale that I could drink every week for the rest of my life. It is so good.
It's a smart move to make a college I won't say affiliated.
Branded,
thank you.
Yeah.
A college branded beer that tastes like beer.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
It's not a guava fruit. You know what I like?
Yeah.
You get what I'm throwing down. Like,
or just like a watery lager.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. This is a college branded beer that
solid pale ale.
Yes. You can feel good going into your bar and ordering this because not only does it have your school brand on it, but it like tastes like a good beer.
Yeah, I wonder if they're tapping this anywhere around the metro area.
They gotta be.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly in Lawrence, right? Lawrence?
Mm-hmm. Lawrence, Kansas.
That's where KU is?
Yep.
They gots to, right? Gots to do it.
You gotta be doing it. But of course, if you're a nerd, the nerd beer of the galaxy, of the Earth, of the United States and the Midwest is Space Camper Cosmic IPA.
Yes.
Go get you some. Put it in your tum-tum. It's not a beer, it's a journey.
Excellent work.
Thank you.
We're going to be drinking so much Fundamental Evil.
Oh, man. Yeah, they've got a 10%.
That does not taste like 10%.
IPA that does not taste like 10%. It's an Imperial that they've actually canned it this year. And it is great out of the can.
Man.
I can't believe they sample something that high ABV at a con, but man, I love having a brewski or two to loosen myself up at a convention floor. I get a little like starstruck and nervous around some of these like creators, especially if it's like somebody that I've never had the chance to meet and maybe not again.
Yeah.
And it's really nice to just take the old edge off. And calm down about my collectibles and the experience I'm having.
And Fundamental Evil is a great way to do that.
That's right.
And what's crazy, I promise this is not a beer podcast, but didn't our good buddy Adam from Boulevard tell us that was like almost like a kitchen sink beer where they just like took every hop and like put it all together?
Oh, maybe.
Didn't he say there was like not really every hop, but there was like 7 of them or something?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Crazy. Good beer.
Such a good beer. Okay. Comic book news?
Comic book news.
Vargas, you were telling me before we started the podcast that there's going to be some Absolute Robins coming. And I said, don't tell me anything right now. That sounds like news.
And I was like, it is news, Mike.
Great.
And then I told you anyway, because I'm excitable. Yeah, so we got a tease of this. I think via a cover or promo image of Absolute Batman standing in front of a big R. Right? So we got confirmation this week or recently that issue 20 will feature the debut of Absolute Robin, but moreover, It's Absolute Robins.
Plural.
We're getting 5
How about that?
in one. So we're getting Dick, Tim, Jason, Stephanie Brown,
Yep.
and Duke Thomas,
Great.
all debuting as Absolute Robins.
When you think about it, in the Absolute Universe, there's been no chance for a Damien yet.
Yeah.
I mean, unless Bruce, when going to college, got up to some funny business and didn't know.
And Damien would be like 6 years old.
Yeah, right. Damien would be really young.
I
Who knows if they, get to Damien.
I'm hoping they
how
do.
And when.
I'm really hoping they do, because I think inside of the Absolute Universe, having Damien around would be killer. Whether it's time travel shenanigans or, he's a clone or a whatever.
All right, when you see 5 Robins at once, do you think Absolute Batman's getting too big too quick? Do you think, hell yeah, just do the damn thing? We already know the Robins, like giving them all at once is a different take and is like exciting. Where are you at on that spectrum?
I generally, when it comes to comic stories like this, I don't need the backstory.
Yeah.
Like, to your
Most
point,
people buying Absolute Batman know the Batman lore.
We all know who Robin is and what his deal is.
And it's fun to see the versions of all the characters.
We don't need to be introduced to them one by one via drip or whatever. Just like give them to us for sure. What I'm more concerned about is like what's going to be their deal? Are they going to be like adversarial to Batman? Is he going to be like, you're a bunch of kids on the street, you can go home, Because I'm assuming they're going to be like a team of, like the Ninja Turtles, basically, right? A team of guys that are,
young kids that
think they're helping Batman or whatever. They pick up his mission.
They're the guys wearing hockey pants.
I'm not wearing hockey pants. Yeah. So I think that would be kind of an interesting twist, is to see Batman like wholly reject that idea of, I am not putting my burden onto other people.
Yeah, right. I've had a hard time wrapping my head around the Absolute Universe in some regards, because I think I'm trying to make sense of it in a way where there's not sense to be made. When this idea got pitched initially, and it was like, oh, there's a Omega universe created, that my assumption was these are going to be the antithesis versions of everything. That you had a rich playboy Bruce Wayne without parents, and in this universe you've got a bulky gym rat,
broke boy.
Broke kid who grew up with his mom, and he's willing to kill. How does that change the storyline? And generally I went into the Absolute Universe thinking, oh, these are going to be like the evil versions, or the opposite versions at least, of all these characters. And they're not really that. I need to just like throw that idea away, but I keep getting hung up on like, what is it supposed to be? What's the mission statement of these things when it's really just alternate universe?
Yeah, the thing you have to keep in mind is that like DC editorial would never let Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman be evil.
Yeah, right.
Like, you think even all the way back to like Superman Red Son, where Superman crashes in the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
And then he's just Superman wearing a hammer and sickle.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
This is the same thing where it's like, Darkseid creates a universe where he pulls all the stuff that he thinks makes Batman Batman.
Yeah.
And flips it on its head. But then, of course, we find out that Batman's gonna Batman regardless of what his upbringing is. Right?
Yeah, right. In some regards, I feel like you can interpret some of these as Batman Extreme.
Yeah.
That it's like this version of Batman is the most.
Correct.
Well, and whoever's writing it, you take that and go whatever direction you want with it. That this is like the on steroids version of these characters.
Scott Snyder originally wanted to call the whole universe the AF, He wanted to call it Batman AF.
Oh, great. That's awesome.
Superman AF, Wonder Woman AF. But of course, he couldn't get that passed.
Right.
But
that's great. That's great to know. I feel like that makes more sense. I would have gotten that.
Yeah.
More than whatever absolute means, or especially like the whole like omega-ness of it is just a layer that I think a lot of people maybe missed or don't understand. Like, how far into absolute Batman did we get before people were like, oh yeah, I should pick up that all-in special.
Right.
That like kicked off, like people didn't know that was a normal DC event that like kicked off the thing.
Yeah.
Those books took off by themselves, completely separate from the fact that it was a DC event.
Correct. Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So some weird branding there.
Yeah. I mean,
but I think if they would have called it Batman Omega, it wouldn't have sold as well.
No. I totally agree.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, DC always feels the need to like explain via the lore the reason that everything exists. And that's one thing I think Marvel does pretty well is like, hey, we're just gonna do Marvel Zombies, and then they like retcon it into the universe if they want it to, or whatever. Like, we're just gonna a universe of zombies exists, and then it was popular, and then they just like do the zombies thing forever,
Yeah, right.
But I think DC could embrace that a little bit more, and I mean, I think Scott Snyder has helped them embrace that.
Yeah,
but like, it's just that lore stuff of even like DC KO is like, we don't need a reason to watch Superman punch Darkseid.
Yeah,
like you can just have them do that, and we will buy it.
I love me some DC KO.
It's great. The
really
last issue was awesome.
Yeah. Since we're on DC, I saw a funny headline today that said the Paramount CEO loves DC, and then it said bad news for James Gunn ? If you don't know, the Paramount CEO is supposed to be kind of a shithead, and obviously Warner Brothers and DC has had a real rough go of like finding some normalcy and the right level of like studio involvement and director involvement. And I think there's some worry now that an over-involved CEO might step in to where James Gunn kind of has like a plan. The first couple movies and TV shows have really worked.
Yeah.
And that's got people really excited about the upcoming DC things in a way that like Marvel has kind of lost that edge, and it's something to really cling to. But, you just worry about what that means for these, anytime these things move hands and you have these companies that are very heavy-handed on moving people around because of their politics or the message of the medium and things like that. I mean, these are the people who like are taking Stephen Colbert off of the air and Jimmy Kimmel. So,
I mean, I'll probably regret saying this, but like the DC universe survived Zaslav, and he like straight up canceled a movie that was completely done. Like
right.
It almost doesn't get worse than that.
Yeah.
Like, if they let him make movies, at least that's output.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're not going to be like, Sony just kept shitting out those Spider-Man adjacent movies so that they could maintain the rights. It's not going to be that.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
You've got somebody who is a creatively minded person who wants to curate these movies.
Yep.
As long as he gets to keep making those movies, they'll be fine.
Yeah. Fingers crossed this guy doesn't, one, over-involve himself, or two, kick out James Gunn because the message is like, no war.
Yeah, right.
Like, how many people watched Superman
and freaked out about it?
And we're just like, this is too politically motivated. And it's just like, it's the perfect message and sign for our times.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
we should
look where we are now.
Yeah, exactly right. Look where we are now. Movies that get us talking about these sort of things are great, but I think, unfortunately, Warner Brothers now belongs to a studio who doesn't want people talking about things like that.
Well,
so we shall see.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right. Our last bit of news, I think, was just we wanted to comment on the month of indie hype that we've had.
Ugh.
We talked about this the other week, but we are now
Ugh.
on indie hype week 4,
Yeah.
which I think started with Dork,
Dork was like the first big one,
and then
for sure.
and then Bleeding Heart.
Yeah.
Those two I can't remember right if I have them flipped
Dork was the first
or
one
not,
for
but
sure.
Dork,
Yeah.
Bleeding Heart, then Nectar,
Yeah.
and this week Tigress Island. And I think these are getting a little like less and less and less hypey. That Tigress Island was still like on eBay selling for like $16-20
Yeah.
a copy. It's great to see excitement around comic books and buzz and people getting out and buying independent comics up like crazy.
Totally.
The part of it that's a drag is that you have people who are just like resellers going in, not even reading the comics, making them harder to acquire for your typical readers
Yeah.
who might normally be the people who would actually buy an issue 2 or an issue 3 of something.
Right.
And then those don't get pre-ordered because all these people are putting them on eBay for $30 a pop or
Yeah.
something, right?
Yeah.
So my store at least has gone to limit 1 per customer on these things.
Great.
But even still, people are like lining up outside of comic book shops now
Yeah.
to make sure that they get their copy or whatever of the thing that's selling on eBay, and whether that's to actually get a copy in earnest or just to sell a copy of it, who knows? But I think equally exciting and frustrating.
Yeah. So the other book that I couldn't think of when we were talking about this was 51. It's that new Mad Cave book.
51. I don't think I know about that one.
Yeah, it's like a UFO comic.
Okay.
But it was sold out at my store, or at least I didn't ask about it. I should have.
Yeah.
What brought this up was I was telling Mike that my local shop has sort of started tracking to a certain extent what these like heater books of the week are,
Mhm.
and just keeps them behind the desk now. So when those like eBay chuds come in and they're like, how many copies of
Blank can I
Nectar did you
Yeah,
get?
right.
And the guy's like, none. I didn't get any.
Yeah.
But if I go in and I'm like, hey, are you sold out of
Yeah.
Tigress Island?
Mhm.
He just pulls one off the stack and
Yeah.
gives it to me, which like,
You reward the people who are coming in every single week and buying comic books.
yeah. And I mean, part of me is like, that's good. I like that. I like
Yeah.
that I have a rapport with my local shop. But at the same time, I would also hope, and I don't think my shop is like this, but you know, if a guy comes in and he's like picking up a couple of books,
Mhm.
even if he's never been in that store before, and he's also like, oh, are you sold out of that thing?
Yeah.
I feel like the guy at my store would hand him a copy.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
it's the guys that come in
Just looking for the thing to sell.
to buy whatever they can
Yeah.
of the one thing
Yeah.
to
Right.
stock their eBay store. Yeah.
Because we want our local comic shops to succeed and
yeah.
make money.
I want them to sell every copy of every book they have every week,
And
for sure.
Sometimes I think, as much as it sucks to say, like, hey, it's frustrating when a shop like holds back copies and sells them on eBay or something because you come into those places to buy them at a newsstand price. But at the same time, if you've got tons of people just coming in to buy something to sell it on eBay, I would rather my LCS make that money than I would
Yeah.
these like rando dudes doing it. So I'm kind of like, hell yeah, local comic shops that are trying to survive.
Yeah.
Like, hold back 5 copies and make $100
Oh,
off
totally.
of 5 copies, selling them on your own eBay store, right?
Totally, yeah.
And then like you said, for people who are like coming in earnest, who are like, I was hoping to read or like pick up this new copy and actually like read that comic this week
Yeah.
to be part of the conversation. He's like, yeah, man, I know who you are, and I know that you're not just here to make a quick buck off of flipping something.
Right.
So here's your copy.
Yeah.
I think that's more than fair.
I totally agree. Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, just, you know, the we've talked about this kind of ad nauseum, the whole hype beast thing, and it's just part of the collectible industry now.
I think this little bump we had is coming back down to earth.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
It'll be like this for a few more weeks, I think, but I think the Nectar selling for like 40, $50. I think that's kind of like
It's already crashing.
it's already crashing. Yeah. And I think
Totally.
you're going to see the people who are like didn't really understand or were like, I'm a baseball card guy who's opening hobby boxes and making video content out of it and flipping them online and bragging about how much money I made on that stuff.
Yeah.
Those are the people who are like trying to sell these things on eBay and then are like, shit, or are people who are overspending for them on eBay
Yeah.
thinking they're going to accrue value over time
Right.
when these brand new comic books are not an investment.
Yeah. Right.
It's not an investment opportunity. It's an opportunity to read and enjoy a story,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Like,
And I mean, but this is the way comics have always been. Like, Dork is a great story. Don't get me wrong. I had a blast with it. I talked about it the week it came out.
yeah,
It was awesome. I picked up issue 2 this week. I'm going to keep reading it.
yep,
I hope it gets an adaptation. Like, that would be a fun animated story to watch.
yep,
In 20 years, it's not going to be the next Something is Killing the Children.
yeah,
Right? Like,
yeah.
Something is Killing the Children happened organically, and it only happens
It's
once a decade.
extremely rare.
Right.
It's extremely rare.
And like Tinian will never have another Something is Killing the Children.
Maybe not. Yeah.
Because it's already happened. It's
yeah.
already,
Well, and every time he writes a new number 1, people pre-order it to all hell.
Right.
So you'll never have, like, again, the right mix of like rarity and the
great
perfect
story
storm
and,
of things around that comic. I mean, one of the tells for these, which is like every single week, no one's read these comic books.
Right.
None of it is based on the content of the comic book.
Right.
It's all based on a false sense of scarcity.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, it's one of the frustrations we have to live with in the hobby that we've chosen, but luckily we've got good LCSs out there that still hook us up with books so we can do the show.
Yeah, and you want to make sure you get your copies, pre-order stuff.
Yeah.
That's the best way to
FOC.
support your comic shops. That's the best way to save money. Make sure you get what you want or what you're interested in. Hop on, look at previews, and see what comic books sound good to you, and order those, and who cares about the rest.
That's right. Totally agree.
All right, let's talk about comic books.
Finally. I would love, if you don't mind,
Yeah.
to hear you start with X-Men, because I've kind of been on pins and needles.
Yeah, one of the biggest books of the week this week was X-Men United by Eve L. Ewing.
Nice.
And I think there's really polarizing takes on this comic online.
Did you get a left-handed or a right-handed copy?
You know what? I bought there was a Mike Del Mundo cover of Wolverine being like a crossing guard.
Oh, yeah.
And I really loved that cover,
Okay.
so they had that variant and I picked it up. But yes, there's an A and the B cover are connecting covers with a large cast of X-Men. A large cast because X-Men United, this is the first book in a minute that is bringing like everyone back together. Out of the Krakoa era, the last kind of like big overarching narrative of the X-Men. Once that ended, it broke out into several disparate comics where you had different X-Men teams in different parts of the country, and now we have like a main title where everything happens between all of the characters.
Sort of like back on Genosha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's right. So Kitty and Emma reunited in Exceptional X-Men in the fallout of Krakoa, where they had basically started a little training session for these kind of wayward young teen mutants.
Okay.
Which is very in the realm of what Emma and Kitty have been doing for a long, long time.
Sure.
What has happened in this book is that they're ready to like upscale that. And this was Eve Ewing's comic, Exceptional X-Men, right?
Yes.
So this is the next evolution of her X-Men story.
Got it.
Brings all of the X-Men together. And what they've done is open Gray Matter Lane, which is a parody or pun of Gray Malkin Lane,
Sure.
which is the road that the old Xavier Institute
Uh-huh.
used to be off of. And it is a massive mutant university that exists on like a psychic astral plane.
So, in gray matter, like a brain.
Yes, exactly.
That's
right.
really funny.
Exactly right. So you could be a mutant student in Brazil, and you could have a mutant student in Chicago, Illinois, and you just tune in basically to this like mental channel, and you pop up in this psychic realm where you can like attend classes, interact with other students.
That's really clever.
Do the whole thing. So they found a way to get the classic X-Men story back, but doing it in a kind of like different way with a twist.
That's cool.
There's a couple interesting things that are for like X-heads. I think there's like sinister tech that's being used to keep the psychic defenses for the school. That was a storyline in Exceptional X-Men. In doing recon to steal some of that tech, they find a cloned Lockheed that they've named Marigold.
Okay.
So there is like a fun new Lockheed, which is like a little dragon character from X-Men, if you don't know. But it's got people speculating, what else did Mr. Sinister clone?
Sure. Or who else?
While he had this little office thing that he was running that they're stealing the tech from, and we've got a handful of people hoping that this means there is a chance for Rasputin 4 to come back into the fold, which fan favorite character
love Rasputin, don't
from the Krakoan era. So maybe there's a chance for some fun with that breadcrumb. This wouldn't be an X-Men comic if Scott Summers wasn't being a sourpuss about the whole thing.
Well, sure. You can't just like be a cool guy about it.
He wants to dissolve it. He thinks anytime mutants congregate, they become a target, and they've learned that time and time again. Even though it's all a mental school, it's still a place where mutants are collecting, and they're using stolen sinister tech, and he doesn't trust that. The last page, he sets the school ablaze.
How?
He like destroys the school. And I'm assuming that is just something to make a point. That he has in the astral realm like burnt the school down, but it doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah, it's more of a statement.
Yeah, that you wake up the next day and Emma's like, "Oh, rebuild the school with my psychic powers within like 1 minute."
Yeah.
And like no damage done.
Right.
But he's trying to bandwagon, I think, more people to the idea that like, hey, we've tried this time and time again. We're bad shepherds of young people. Like, there's maybe a better way to do this, and it's in person on a small scale than it is.
Why does Scott have to be like that?
I know.
Pick a new sourpuss for the X-Men, I say.
Yeah, right.
Like, what's Blob doing nowadays? Blob would be a great sourpuss to have.
Yeah, of course. I really liked Blob in Krakoa. He was just like a bartender.
Yeah.
Living his best life.
See, he's pissed off that he had to leave Krakoa.
Yeah, that's
and he
right.
burns the school to the ground.
He found his new identity there, and now no one can be happy if Blob's not happy.
Yeah. Hashtag bad Blob.
Bad Blob. I think the idea is really novel and interesting, and I like that they found a way to do the classic X-Men thing with a twist.
Yeah.
It's a lot of ideas in one thing, and I think that maybe turned some people off a little bit. And some people are like, isn't this Krakoa but in a mindscape? Or isn't it like, the old X-School thing they did like 10, 15 years ago?
Oh, yeah.
But in a mindscape. And yes and no. I mean, sometimes it's nice to revisit these ideas. I've always really gravitated towards the like young mutants learning kind of X-Men stuff. Those stories generally are like happier, funner X-Men times.
Yeah.
And I get very exhausted by the like death of an entire like mutant race and extermination of a people, constant major threats. Get the kids in a Hogwarts type school with all the fun powers and all the fun coming of age stuff, and let them solve little problems that are a little more street level while they learn about themselves. And having it be in a mindscape, how does that change the typical X-Men story when they're going on missions together? While, you might have best friends from China and Brazil and the US and Australia, they can't all connect and converse
Sure.
in real life, right? They have to be in this place where like their language becomes homogenized into one like
common in D&D.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening in this, so everyone can understand each other.
Yeah.
I say, as an X fan, read this, stick with it. I don't think it's going to be just like a huge exhaustive rehash of Krakoa. If you think it's similar to Krakoa at all, like, it's not going to be like a 5-year initiative, I don't think.
It sounds like a cool way to like have, like you said, you have a kid from Brazil go and, you know, try and solve his problem at the school, but then he has to like zap out and deal with it in real life by himself.
Right.
You know, right?
Yes.
Like,
I think you're gonna see things. They set up this one character who's like a little bullied at school and a little bit of an outcast, and then has this as like a haven
right.
to express themselves, be welcomed, learn more about themselves. And what does that do to, like, does it change their confidence level?
Yeah.
In the other school, do they depend on this mental university as like too much of escapism and aren't good about living in the physical world?
Is it analogous to the internet?
Yes,
right?
exactly. Or are you living too much in your digital space, like locked in? There's like a lot of like interesting threads to pull on in this that I think people are overlooking when we're a bit negative on the first issue online.
Yeah. As someone who's not entrenched in the X-Men, but has a deep interest in the X-Men, is this accessible enough if I haven't read anything since like Powers of X, House of X?
I think this is the most accessible X book of the post Krakoa era. It's familiar in a way, and it's also a new novel concept that in no way relies on anything that's happened in the past. Like, it is a grander version of what happened in Exceptional X-Men, but it doesn't rely on Exceptional X-Men.
Sure.
It is like a kind of net new idea where they do the traditional kind of X-Men thing.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great onboarding point.
Cool.
And there's probably going to be a lot of first appearances and fun new characters because of the way they're handling that too.
Perfect.
And you're going to get, like we said, more diversity because of the methodology of it.
Yeah.
Which is the whole point of the X-Men, is representation, right?
So we don't like that.
That's exactly. I'm glad you said it.
Yeah. So do not recommend this book. No, that's great. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, big recommend from me. But if you're a Scott Summers and are a little cranky about X-Men having a good time, you might not like it.
Suck an egg, Scott.
Suck an egg, Scott. Sourpuss. Okay, I read 2 other Marvel books and Tigress Island. What are you thinking? How should we order these things?
What did I read? I read Tigress Island. What was the other thing I told you I read?
I can't remember.
I can't either. Let's talk about Tigress Island last. How about that?
Tigress Island last. Okay, sounds good. Okay. I read Alias.
Yes.
There's a new Jessica Jones book.
Polybagged for extreme audiences only.
That's right. So this one you got to buy because it's not going to end up on that X-Men Unlimited app.
That's right.
Or whatever their app is called. I think it's
Marvel Unlimited.
Marvel Unlimited. Yeah, that's right. So X-Men brained. Well, all the Red Band editions are basically what Max was.
Yep.
Which is what the original Alias by Bendis and Gaidos was. Yeah. So get hard copies of these bad boys. I loved it.
I was anticipating nothing less.
I'm a huge Jessica Jones fan.
Yeah.
And I think that means it's harder to impress me with it.
Sure.
There's like a very specific tone and thing that I look for in it because it was a Max series and was a little more mature.
Yeah.
And it's really, really hard to keep that tone every year that goes by because Jessica Jones gets more and more intertwined with Marvel Universe superhero nonsense.
Sure.
And how do you still make the character work in like the boots on the ground way that Jessica Jones works while also having it be superhero eventy?
Yeah.
Is extremely hard, and I think Sam Humphries has done an incredible job at threading that needle.
Yeah, when she has to investigate murders and also punch Venom.
Yeah,
Right? Like...
right. It's like, what is this book anymore?
Yeah.
In this, Jessica gets her PI license revoked because her husband is mayor,
Oh,
right?
sure. Yeah, she's
So
still married to Power Man, right?
she's married to Luke Cage, who is now mayor of New York, and it's bad optics for him and the police force,
Sure.
right? To more or less make the assumption that PIs are even needed.
The
Cops
can handle
Cops
it,
are
yeah.
so incompetent that the superhero wife of the mayor needs to step in. There was just too much politically going on there, and she agreed at some point to say, okay, for the greater good or for your career for the moment, I'm going to step away from this. But they've since become very at odds. If you know Jessica Jones as a character, very independent, very strong-willed, and has always had a hard time giving up anything of herself.
Sure.
And so this has been a real struggle for her to be more or less boiled down to the mayor's wife. And, you know, she's got paparazzi following her around in this while she's just trying to go about her business.
Yeah.
The story at play here is that her old neighbors are victims of a series of connected murders. And again, she's not supposed to investigate. She's got a very personal connection to this thing.
Sure.
Happened to be at a scene of a crime and was seen there. It became like a whole news story.
Yeah.
Another thing that...
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. So, Typhoid Mary, who is basically kingpinning Hell's Kitchen...
Okay.
While the Kingpin is out of commission, if you've been reading other Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
Punisher Red Band.
Yeah.
The Kingpin goes down... And he's like in a coma, I think, right?
Yeah, he's like completely out of commission. Not dead, but yeah.
So Typhoid Mary is basically running the show in his stead.
Okay.
As the queen pin of Hell's Kitchen in this time, she wants to put a stop to uncontrolled, unregulated crime. She's got an investment in stopping all of these serial killings too.
Got it.
So she convinces Jessica to investigate this alongside her or with her resources supporting her. And they can hopefully do this on the sly, which is really interesting because you've got the Kingpin's wife and the mayor's wife working together, who are in a way like two first ladies, and then two literal first ladies because the mayor was Kingpin beforehand,
right? And
he was married to Typhoid Mary maybe at the tail end of that. So I love... maybe or maybe not. But in any case, you've basically got the two first ladies of New York City solving a serial murder case together.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, very fun.
But they sort of can't be caught like working with each other.
Yeah, exactly right.
That's cool.
I will say a really fun wrinkle to this is that on the last page, it's like 30 days later, and she's in a courtroom. And they were like, so what made you think it was a good idea to, with a PI license revoked, be investigating a serial killer with a known criminal, blah, blah, blah. And it shows her face and she's just like, Jesus Christ. So we know she gets caught at some point and there's comeuppance. So now we're leading up to how all the craziness unfolds. And does she catch the serial killer? You lump Jessica Jones into that kind of Daredevil Hell's Kitchen sort of thing, that all the serial killers are like really weird and quirky and kind of like a fun mystery to solve in that way.
Yeah.
And it's got the hallmarks of a lot of like fun Jessica Jones, Hell's Kitchen, Daredevil kind of things.
Cool.
Even tying in the whole like paparazzi angle of it, of like photographers following her, like the Daily Bugle. God, I always want to say Planet. The Daily Bugle has always been a big part of Jessica Jones lore as well. So it's fun that they found a way to get the newspaper in there too.
Cool.
Yeah.
I gotta ask, this is a polybagged Red Band book.
Yes.
Was there
is
violence or...
Yeah, I think it's validated. There's it read a lot like a Max book in that there's like cursing that they don't have to bleep, and then there's some like crime scene gore that doesn't feel like you would it would be out of place in a normal Marvel comic book. So polybag validated.
Interesting.
Not just a stunt polybag.
Sure.
Sometimes they polybag these things and you're like, this didn't need to be.
Yeah.
in a polybag. You kind of expect something to be a little extreme
Yeah.
when it gets delivered in one of those.
Yeah, totally.
And I'll say too that like this isn't necessarily extreme,
Yeah.
but it
yeah.
is more mature and reads more like whatever Marvel's version of Vertigo might be,
Yeah.
where it's like a little more independent feeling and
Yeah.
has a grittier texture to it.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
I'm very happy about it and very stoked to
Okay.
keep reading it. Okay, Imperial Guardians.
Oh, is this a spinoff of the event?
Yeah, it's a spin-off of Imperial.
Okay.
It's written by Dan Abnett, who's a big,
Big cosmic guy.
yep, doing all the 40K
Yep.
Warhammer stuff. Has written a couple novels, so good person to write.
Well, and he did all the like Annihilation stuff.
Yeah, I did all of a lot of Marvel outer space stuff already. Okay, I guess bear with me. This is going to be like a history lesson.
Okay. I'm strapped in.
Okay, so the Imperial Guardians are a secret team that does the dirty work for the Galactic Union.
Okay.
So
They're X-Force.
space. They're like X-Force in space. That's a great way to put it.
Okay.
Peter Quill, if you don't know, is now head of the Galactic Union.
Okay.
And
he's the Star-Lord.
He's the Star-Lord. And he has to distance himself from any like prickly political conflicts.
Sure.
So this if something goes awry on a political espionage sort of mission, they can just say these people were never sanctioned. It was never an official thing.
Yeah.
Completely separate from what he's trying to do. The team is given missions by the inhuman Maximus. Maximus is kind of a tool.
He's Black Bolt's brother. Yeah.
That's right. The Imperial Guardians in this book kind of keep private logs
Mm-hmm.
throughout because they don't trust Maximus and want records of what's happening.
Sure.
In case they get thrown under a bus or anything at any point.
Sure.
That they can say, hey, watch the logs we took to show what our intentions were, blah, blah, blah. And it's a really cool storytelling device to get extra context in these recorded logs kind of interspersed throughout the action.
Got it.
So you'll be watching the like mission go on and then be seeing some of the like post-mission logs while it's all happening.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that.
Okay.
In the first issue of this, they're trying to make like this hot-headed Kree warlord surrender a massive weapons cache.
Okay.
And rather than surrender, he's like, I'm going to unleash a terrible weapon on the galaxy because he's like a prideful
Why would we?
megalomaniac. Sound familiar?
No.
The threat of this is so immense that Carol Danvers has to take out the entire ship. So she kills like over 1,000 people to prevent this larger galactic catastrophe from taking place.
Nuke.
A space nuke, right. And initially I was like, this book is set apart from a typical Marvel book already. One, I mean, if you're willing to get bogged down in the galactic complexity of it all, that's just kind of like fun and different depending on how big of a Marvel head you are. But the fact that they would start the series with
a war crime,
Captain Marvel killing like 1,000 people in like one page, and then just being like, I guess I had to do it. Like, that's not how a lot of Marvel comics start.
Totally.
These are like altruistic characters who stop at nothing to like do the right thing and not kill. So that really caught my attention. Okay, so I mentioned Carol already. The team is Cosmic Ghost Rider, who is kind of like the right hand of Maximus.
I didn't realize he was in like the 616.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Currently a 616 character. Amadeus Cho, who is in like War Machine armor.
Okay.
For this.
He's still a Hulk?
And he is still a Hulk.
Okay.
Dark Hawk.
Yes.
And Dark Hawk is getting like accurate psychic visions of the future.
Okay.
So like every character's got like a weird little thing that like alters their like kind of deal. In this. And then you've got Captain Marvel, who's the powerhouse, and I guess if you had to pick what her deal was, it would be a willingness to like
murder,
compromise more her morals for a while. and then Gamora
Okay.
is serving as the leader. And I think that's where you get the Imperial Guardians of it all. Like that,
Got it.
they're her new Guardians of the Galaxy. She gets to say what ultimately happens on the missions and what they do. Gamora being the leader likely is what led to the quick, brash decision to destroy the ship and kill everybody aboard.
Really interesting that Carol went from leading the Avengers to
Outer
being
space
on
secret ops.
outer space black ops. In a,
you go where you're needed.
I guess, yeah, sure. You know, not a lot of superheroes can fly through space.
That is true.
I'll give her that.
Yep. Okay, so here is your history lesson part. If you're like, that was gobbledygook.
Got it.
So in Imperial, Maximus the Inhuman, who's kind of like leading this whole thing, orchestrated a war with the Grandmaster to break the Kree-Skrull alliance in order to regain rule of the Kree. Does any of that track, or does that just sound like more gobbledygook to you?
No, yeah.
You read Imperial, right?
No, I didn't.
You didn't read Imperial.
No.
Okay. So I think even if you read Imperial, like 30% of people wouldn't be able to tell you like exactly what the like story was in a synopsis.
Yeah.
So being a Marvel freak, here's kind of like your
I mean,
thing.
that all tracks for me. I know all those characters and species.
Yes. Okay. So again, Maximus orchestrated a war with the Grand Master to break the Kree-Skrull alliance in order to regain control of the Kree. So if
Maximus wants to be in control of the Kree.
The Inhumans in general.
Oh, the Inhumans want to be in control.
Yes.
Of the Kree.
So if you don't know the Inhumans origin story, they're a result of Kree experiments on ancient humans. They came to Earth.
Yes.
And said, "Hey, there's beings here to experiment on." And they were going to engineer super soldiers to help them fight the Skrulls.
Okay.
Without having to test on themselves.
I would have said it was the High Evolutionary, but okay.
Okay. The Kree then abandoned the Inhumans.
Yes.
So they've got beef from that. There's some sort of deal with like a prophecy where an Inhuman would like bring down the Kree.
Sure.
And I think that's probably happened like several times
sure.
in the Marvel Universe at this point. But they've had back and forth control issues ever since.
Sure.
With like the Kree subjugating the Inhumans again, and then the Inhumans subjugating the Kree. So we are now back in a world wherein the Inhumans are trying to take power of the Kree again. And they did it through breaking the alliance between the Kree and Skrull.
Okay. How many Inhumans are there?
A ton.
Okay.
Right? So when you think about like the timing of this all, this was like prehistory Earth when the Kree would have started experimenting on humans and created the Inhumans.
Well, it was like 5 or 10% of the population was Inhumans.
Yes.
Right? Like that was like
since everybody has like had kids, there's full lineages.
Yeah.
The Inhumans created Terrigenesis in an effort to create more Inhumans with like this cloud mist, and they launched the bomb that put the mist across the whole country or world and awoke all these different Inhumans. So it's a massive space nation.
Okay, got it.
The way Gamora and Darkhawk are tied to this, they discovered Maximus was pulling the strings of the Skrull uprising. And then Maximus had Cosmic Ghost Rider kill them and revive them after the war was won. They were getting too in the way.
Yeah.
And because Cosmic Ghost Rider has the power cosmic, if he kills somebody, he is able
to bring them
back to life, which could end up being an interesting plot device.
Sure.
That maybe he kills the team every once in a while for the greater good of the team to like resurrect, because he can just resurrect them later if they die at his hand.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how those two got wrapped up in it. They followed Darkhawk's vision, and Gamora kind of led the charge with Carol Danvers during Imperial.
Got it.
A lot of moving pieces, not an easy comic to pick up.
Sure.
But really rewarding if you're a fucking Marvel freak like I am.
Okay.
All right. Tigress Island?
I remembered what I read.
Oh, okay.
I read Kaito 84.
Okay, what is that?
That is the spin-off of Usagi Yojimbo.
Oh, okay, yes.
So this is our favorite Rabbit Samurai's descendant in 1984 Japan.
Okay.
So instead of roaming the countryside, helping people in need, he's sort of Robin Hooding around the 80s Japan.
Fun.
Yeah. This was my first Usagi comic.
Whoa, wild.
Never read any of the other ones. They're on my list. I know they're good.
Yep.
I've heard it all.
It's up your alley, you know that.
Yeah, it's up my alley. I just haven't gotten to it. But this read exactly like how I would imagine somebody would take like a Jackie Chan movie and adapt it into a comic. That's exactly what this felt like. There's lots of like street fighting action, running through the street, diving over a car, a little bit of comedy in there. They finally get to the car and the car won't start. So he's got to get out and push start it. Fun moments like that. We get a sense of like who this character is. He puts himself in danger to make sure a kid doesn't get hit by the bad guy's car as they're in this chase scene.
Yeah.
We get this moment where the parents are like, we know who you are, thank you, all this kind of whatever stuff. So, but the gist of the book is Kaito has this like sort of ward that he's this kid that he's like teamed up with.
Very 80s action movie.
He's got kind
Indiana
of a teenage
Jones.
sidekick kind of thing. So after this big chase scene that they go through, they kind of split up and they're like, all right, we'll meet up at the place later. Well, Kaito gets kidnapped and turns out the mob boss, the rich guy, 80s rich guy of the city is sort of hiring, offer you can't refuse, hiring Kaito to steal this artifact from the museum because the evil gang of the city is going to steal it. So Kaito has to steal it first.
Okay.
Otherwise, they're gonna make life bad for his like ward.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So there's a couple moving pieces. You got the evil gang that Kaito's against. You've got the big rich guy who wants to ostensibly protect the artifact.
Yep.
By having Kaito steal it. And then you've got these like Robin Hood team up kind of guys. So
cool.
Yeah, it was very fun. Again, it read to me exactly like how I would imagine a Jackie Chan comic book would go. Had that same kind of like kinetic fist fight action, which was great.
It's a fun spin on the Usagi universe because people always make the Kurosawa comp with Usagi. And who's the actor that's in a lot of the Kurosawa stuff? He's in the one where the
Yojimbo and
yes.
Yes.
He's Usagi is like a comp for that kind of character. Yeah. And so it's fun to do like
what's the 80s version of that?
Version of that.
Yeah, it would be Jackie Chan.
And play off of all those tropes as opposed to like the feudal Japan 1950s, 60s movie tropes.
Yeah, and there was a lot of that. Way more like physical comedy than you would expect there to be. Like the great scene of like again they get to the car and the car won't start, but the panel is the ward sort of trying to start the car, but through the back of the car, you see Kaito like in a street fight with the gang, keeping them away from the car.
Yeah.
And the word's like, it still won't start. It's that like sort of visual comedy gags that you would get from a Jackie Chan movie that just like play way better than I would have guessed they would in a non-movie format.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I didn't bring it, so I don't know who wrote it, but like Stan Sakai was not involved in writing this, and
it doesn't sound like a Stan Sakai thing.
I believe this was the first Usagi comic that he was not involved with.
Oh, that's interesting.
I believe. I could be wrong, but yeah, it was really entertaining. Again, just reiterates to me that I need to get more involved in the Usagi verse.
All right, it was called Kaito
84. Yeah.
Okay.
Zach Rosenberg and Jared Cullum.
All right, cool.
So,
okay.
Now we can talk about the hype book of the week, than 51.
Of the week, Tigress Island. It's kind of a hard to read first issue.
I was going to say, I believe we'll have
Very similar takes.
opposing opinions on this
Oh,
book.
opposing opinions?
Yeah. I want to hear your take first.
It is hard to read this comic book and not think about Epstein Island the entire time.
Did you read the back matter?
I did read the back matter, and they acknowledge it. And I
Yeah.
do understand that, like, one of the ways we deal with stuff as a culture
Yeah.
is to make a fantasy version of it.
Yeah.
And especially, like, a revenge fantasy style things, right? And that's what this is going to be.
Yes.
And I see a lot of value in things like this existing and being like, fuck all these people.
Yeah.
But the first issue is a bunch of women being human trafficked to a rich businessman's island, and it is all facilitated by a woman who deceives these other women and kind of plays intermediary.
Yeah.
And there's another like evil warden woman who is kind of like their keeper and like makes her call them mother, is like this kind of like proxy, like I'm your mother now.
Yeah.
Type of character who keeps them in line.
I'll have a gentler hand than.
And and isn't that like the Ghislaine Maxwell of it all? The characters in it, they're adult women.
Yes.
I guess by like U.S. law standards, however you
yeah,
like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
they all have careers.
But they all have careers. They all
career
have kind of like a little bit of a history that made them willing to take a job in China where they were essentially going to be like arm candy for a weekend.
Yeah, right.
That you were going to like accompany some rich, wealthy businessmen to a couple parties, no hanky-panky, and they've been human trafficked and made prostitutes.
Yeah.
Like, the art style is very fun. The promise of this turning into like Sucker Punch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With just like 6 women get together and escape something and kick a bunch of ass while they're doing so.
Yeah.
Like is a really fun, great idea, especially like with
the news.
with the news and all the stuff going on.
Yeah.
But at the same time, its parallels were a few too many for me to like put fantasy fun story at the forefront of my brain.
Yeah.
Like women waking up in like a shipping container after being roofied. Like I'm not in the mood for like the comedy of it.
Yeah.
At that point, I had a little hard time with this first issue.
Yeah.
But I think I'll enjoy the series if I keep going.
Yeah. There are a ton of homages to 60s and 70s
Like
female exploitation movies.
Yeah.
I mean, like, this is like almost a 1-for-1. The warden is like Ilsa She-Wolf of the SS.
Yeah.
Like,
totally.
Like, almost exactly.
Yep.
But then I think there will also be a lot of like female prisoner Scorpion, like the Japanese stuff that will be involved in this, where it will become a prisoners take revenge on their captors story.
Yes.
And I love that stuff.
Yes.
I'm all about it.
Yep.
And having this like diverse cast of sort of female character tropes.
Yep.
Was so engaging.
There's the Russian woman who drinks hard and takes no shit.
Yeah.
There's the kind of almost like Jackie Brown type woman who's like straight up just like has like been in movies and
kicks ass.
And
she was like the getaway driver. That's what she was running away from.
Yeah, right.
The slutty bimbo girl that is like our sort of narrator.
Yes, yeah. So there's a lot of different archetypes of like
a Bollywood actress.
A Bollywood actress is another one, yeah. Like Legally Blonde. Like you can point to each of the characters and be like, here's their movie they were basically like taken from.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I thought that was great.
Yeah.
It does make me wonder because like you have to obviously this book was not written in the last 24 days or whatever. So like at what point was this book starting to be written?
Yeah.
Like, was it just a terrible circumstance that made it release the time that it did?
Yeah.
Or I don't know. And maybe we'll get that answer via the letters page or whatever, but I loved it.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. And
Yeah.
I know a lot of people were kind of lukewarm on it because I think anytime you get a book that like strikes a chord too close to what is
Yeah.
happening in the news, you're bound to have sort of a lukewarm reaction.
Well, I think there is too that like you come to your weekly stack of comic books for some escapism,
Yeah.
and it's just like
You're hit with it again.
and then you're hit with it again. The thing you're trying to avoid the most.
Yeah.
You're hit with it again. But again, I think a lot of really good comics that make really good points about things or again do that revenge stuff
Yeah.
in a fulfilling way start out hard. They have to start out hard
Yes.
to make the end moments earned.
Yeah.
So there was a Kyle Starks book, like I can't remember the name of it, that came out like 2-3 months ago, and
Russell Heist?
no,
No.
like a very dark, like abuser
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of comic where these like
Yes.
5 guys like abuse this woman,
Yeah.
and the first issue was like
Yeah.
I could barely get through it.
Yeah.
And the second issue, whoo-wee, what a time.
Yeah.
It was
Well, that yeah, like I mean, but that's the trope, right?
Yes,
Like
yeah.
you know, as tough it is, and this might be like divulging too much about myself, but like that truly is one of like my favorite genres. But I have such a tough time dealing with the whole like
Yeah.
rape and revenge thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love watching a chick like
Mm-hmm.
pull herself out of the mud and just like
Yep.
go ape shit on the
Mhm.
dudes that like did her wrong.
Yep.
But the thing that always gets me is like, why does she have to get raped at the beginning?
Yeah.
You know, like
Mm-hmm.
why does it have to be that thing? But at the same time, it's like it has to be the most extreme thing.
Mhm.
You know, it has to be 6 women getting trafficked, or
Mhm.
else it's not as satisfying. Right?
Yep.
Like the story doesn't go where it needs to go.
Yep.
Um,
And this stuff really happens,
and that's
you know.
the part of it.
We gotta.
like,
I think there is something to say about like needing to confront ourselves with it every once in a while and not pretend that these things just happen in stories to pay off a revenge fantasy. Like
Yeah.
these things happen and there isn't the revenge part of it
and
all the
and
time.
that's the thing we need to keep in mind.
Yeah.
That's the really upsetting part is
Yeah.
that like
No one gets their comeuppance.
the beginning isn't the fantasy, the end
Yeah.
is the fantasy,
Mhm.
right? Like
Yep.
put all those assholes in jail
Yeah.
forever.
Oof.
But Tigress Island was a great read.
The art is wild.
Yes.
So, like hyper stylized and crazy.
And did you see the previews in the back where that artist has like 2 more books coming out this year?
No, I don't think I did.
Yeah. We'll flip through them. I'll show you. But
All right, cool.
yeah, it was a great book. If you can sort of, I mean, if you can stomach the material that
Yep.
we've been talking about, I think it's a worthwhile pickup.
You've been more than trigger warned.
Yeah, for sure. I think it'll be a fun series.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think it'll pay off, and like you said, it's like a Kill Bill style.
Yeah. And ultimately, so I think the thing we sort of breezed over is this island is already sort of populated by
Yes.
women.
Yes.
So it's not just these 6 women, it's like hundreds of women.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to be cool is to see these 6 women lead these hundreds of women
Yeah.
in sort of like a prison camp rebellion.
Yep.
And I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Kill every man, you
Yeah.
know?
All right.
We did it.
That does it for another week
We did it again.
of the First Issue Club. Next week there's going to be another crop of first issues.
Yep.
And I'm sure we'll have another, Nectar, Dork, Tigress Island, 51.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever it ends up being
Let's see.
next week.
What's next week going to be?
We'll just throw some names out there maybe.
Yeah, no, I'm going to call it right now. Week of March 18th. I'm flipping through.
I don't see a ton of big indie first issues. Wait, number ones is what I want. I wasn't filtered to number ones.
Yeah. Next week is all the new DC stuff. Lobo, Batwoman, Deathstroke.
Oh yeah.
All come out. Yeah, I don't see what is Octavia. Oh, Dead Teenagers from Oni. That has some promise. Look at that cover.
Oh,
That
yeah.
might be the one. I'm calling
Mhm.
that one. Dead Teenagers from Oni. You're going to be hearing about it.
There's a book called Henchmen. What if life in a supervillain organization was less like James Bond movie and more like working at Walmart?
Okay, I love that. I'm buying that.
Yep. Yeah, I think you're right on that one. Kind of a light week.
Kind of a light week, except for those DC heavy hitters.
Net new.
Oh, Nightwing
Number ones.
136. That's going to be a book to pop off about. That's the beginning of a new arc. Dan Waters is writing with what's his name? One of the Milestone co-founders.
Oh, I don't know their names off the
joining
top of
on
my
art.
head.
Yeah, that's going to be a good book.
Are you going to buy this Sentry comic?
Oh, big time, buddy.
Paul Jenkins.
Big time. And for our Patreon listeners, next week is an Exquisite Corpses episode.
Oh, yeah.
So
that'll be fun.
Got that to look forward to.
I'm so stoked to read another Greg Rucka Batwoman.
Yeah. And Danny's on
with
art.
Danny Interiors.
Yeah.
Couldn't be more hyped for that comic.
Yeah, it's going to be good. And Scotty Young's Lobo.
Yep.
And Tony Fleeks is doing Deathstroke. Is that right?
I don't know.
I think that's correct.
Deathstroke. Click. Tony Fleeks. Nailed it.
Couldn't be smarter.
All right. Well, we'll see you then for all of that. Ta-ta for now.
Goodbye.
First Issue Club podcast is brought to you by Boulevard Brewing Company, the people responsible for our favorite drinks, the Space Camper Cosmic IPA family of beers. Our show is edited and produced by our hosts Mike DeStacy, Greg Lichtig, and Andy Vargas. You can find us on social media at First Issue Club, and you can join the supporters who keep our humble podcast going on our Patreon at patreon.com/firstissueclub.